soil erosion? And
soil भाँसिनु
away. Soil what?
eroded portion. Ma'am, layer of soil.
It is what?
By the way, water and
Lord.
Away to the other places by erosion. Yes, reasons may be due to action of the water, reasons may be due to action of the air or particles. And then gets transferred to the other place. It is regarded as well. Space. The upper soil erosion, though it takes place due to varieties of fertility of soil or fertility of a particular land present in different places. Basically, soil erosion as a process of displacement of upper layer of the soil from one particular place to another. Soil erosion is phenomenon. Soil erosion can be the natural phenomenon that occurs naturally on the surface of the earth due to varieties of reasons. Physical factors are always present in the earth's surface. Rainfall always takes place. Yes, rainfall always takes place. There is presence of highly blowing places. Similarly, there is the flowing glaciers. The glaciers flows from one place to another place. Plants and animals also are keen to take away the one place to another places. So basically, we can say that the soil erosion is a natural process that may occur in and they जी भने पनि केही नानीहरू yes or no? Yes. Class. I could not find it. Yes, we left the class. Yes. River or the water resources from one place to another place. Similarly, there is glacier, there is rainfall, timely rainfall that occurs on the surface of the earth. So all of these physical factors are low causes of low cause. So the physical factors are the causes because of which the soil gets eroded and because it is low factors are these creating a fertility of the soil, because of which the land will not be able to grow huge amounts of agricultural production. Once the soil gets eroded from one place or once soil gets stripped away from one particular place, it will be deposited in the other places. Erosion and deposition is a process that occurs side by side. We can say that once the soil gets eroded, it will not be vanished in the air or it will not be vanished on the river or water resources. When these soil that is taken away from one place will be transported from one place to another place. It will be transported from one place. Slowly it will be transported from one particular place after flowing for some period of time due to the action of the wind, action of the glacier, or action of the water. It will find a stable place for it to position. So the process of transferring the soil from one place to another place, process of uprooting the soil from one place to another place is erosion, whereas yeah, the process in which the swell gets settled at one particular place after flowing for some period of time is regarded as a different process. And erosion and deposition process always takes place side by side. Once the soil gets eroded, it will find some of the places, some of the fine places where the deposition takes place. And when the soil deposited in that particular place will come in contact with some of the physical factor, then it will be eroded from those particular places. Only is the case that there should be the high speed of the rain, air, or the river water for the swell to get eroded from one particular place and then get deposited in other varieties of the places. Basically, the swell from one particular place gets eroded if the swell present in that particular place is loose. If the swell present in the agricultural land, if the swell present in the high places are loose due to the lack of green substances in those particular fields or particular areas, then the swell will move. Swell are very prone to move from one place to another places. When there is lack of vegetation, when there are lack of trees in those particular places, the basically in hills or in the barren land, there is presence of higher amounts of the root present. So in that case, when the is very very loose due to several circumstances, materials easily swap for those loose swells that are present in one particular places. When the strong wind is are very strong wind or the storm can easily wind can easily carry those swells that can be suspended, the swell that can they are very loose in nature. They can be easily transported from one place to another place, especially the swells from the barren lands, naked hills, swells that are near the vegetation, where there is lack of green deposition or where there is lack of trees in those places, especially in those places, transport it to other places, causing the swell erosion in that particular places. Besides these, the river can also easily wave the type of soil that are present in one agricultural land or the barren hills. When the river flows or when the rain from places where are very, very loose in comparison to the other places, huge amount of swells can be transported to that place and deposited in other places, resulting in huge amount of swell erosion, resulting in losing up of the topsoil or resulting in the fertility of the soil in one particular places. Not only the swell will be carried away by the rivers or the rainwaters, but it also carries amount of sandpipes, amount organic matters or the dead bodies of plants and animals, which will further be converted into will be carried out from one place to another place. It may also result in several other natural and as materials are carried out and they are deposited in the water, moving wind, carries out the swells, only the top, but it yeah, the rock materials, the rock swells that are present at the upper layer of the soil that may also be eroded. The rainwater only carries out but the rocky materials, the gravels, pebbles that may be present with the swell. Sometimes the rainwater can penetrate deep inside the land and cause in the landslide in those particular places. Not only the swell erosion will but we are very, very familiar about the consequences of the landslide that occurs in a different place, causes swells downside. Furthermore, if it gets deposited in the agricultural land, if the rocky swells gets deposited in the agricultural land, the fertility of the soil will be degraded gradually. Not only one particular place where the erosion has taken place will be weakened or it will be converted in lands, but it also cause flood. It can also cause in loss of the fertility of the soil if it gets deposited in agriculture and different places. Not the banks of the river as the seawater that flows near the banks of the land that may also cause the soil that is near the near the bank of the river, which will be carried from one place and will be deposited in the other place. This position that is the huge amount of water that is brought by the seawater can large amount of place and it can deposit or those who can't deposit it in the different places. Anyway, like wind, glaciers, rainwater, with the upper benefit vegetation in the barren lands or in any of the place, the soil becomes very loose because these physical factors that is present in our surrounding can work and then they can easily carry away the soil. Another place because in erosion and different swells in the different places. So when these occurs, whenever the swell erosion occurs in different places, typically is where the fertility occurs. But the top, the swell that is present at the topmost layer of the swell is the highly fertile swell, as we all have studied, as we all have it is the where rises up huge amount of organic matter. So whenever the swell erosion occurs, fertility has away huge amount of fertile soil, huge amount of topsoil and organic matter will be swept away by the during the fertilization because fertility, the production of cultural crops will be for this purpose, conservation of the soil is extremely important. To help in conservation of the soil, there are several factors need is to be kept into consideration. Basically, soil soil conservation is extremely important to protect the soil from degrading or to keep the natural fertility of the soil. Soil conservation plays very important. You are very familiar important factor that helps in crop growing larger amount of the crop. Yes, larger varieties of the crops can be grown in the soil. If the soil is amount of agricultural production, huge number of the trees as well as huge amount of other substances can be grown on agricultural land. But the huge amount of soil is lost every year due to varieties of the factors that we have already studied. That is due to heavy amount of similarly due to the river water, due to carelessness of human beings, due to deforestation, similarly because of varieties of the factors, the huge amount of soil will be lost every year inside the country and inside larger number of the places. That causes in losing the fertility of the agricultural land as well as it also helps in furthermore it helps in deterioration in production of the agricultural crops that causes several types of disadvantage, wounding, or the larger number of the organisms that is present in different places in our country. So it is very important it is very important to we can protect it for longer period of time. We can use amount of agricultural in one particular places or we can conserve the soil. So can you tell me what are those processes by which we conserve the soil?
Forest.
We already started this, yes. So what are the what are the ways by which we can protect the soil in different places?
Terrace farming, afforestation, reforestation.
Okay, afforestation. As we all are very, very familiar, afforestation is one of the best way to conserve the soil. We all are very familiar about this fact. Large amount of soil gets eroded every year in different places of our country because of one factor, that is, we are cutting down the forest area. We are clearing the forest area, because of which the proper anchorage that should be provided, that should be present in the soil, is particularly not present. Will be lost every year. So hold soil tightly, because of which the soil cannot move due to varieties of the factors. It cannot move when it cannot soil will not be swept away when the strong wind blows, because the roots provide strong anchorage and strong roots to the soil. But due to deforestation, the soil becomes very, very loose every year, due to which huge amount of soil will be swept away from the soil. So one of the best way by which we can conserve the soil is deforestation. Deforestation should be controlled, not planted barren land or naked areas. When the trees are planted in the barren land, when the trees are planted in the naked areas, the proper coverage to the soil and the land, they also can reduce the velocity of the wind. And the strong wind blows in different ways. The velocity of the wind can be deteriorated, or can be velocity of the wind can be reduced due to the help of the stronger trees that are present in the barren or naked areas. Not only that, they also can hold the soil tightly, because of which we cannot find the loose soil in these different places, due to which the physical factors like wind or many other physical factors cannot swipe away the soil from one place to another place. Not planting trees can help, but planting of any of the green vegetations that can provide the proper coverage to the soil is also extremely important. रूखले मात्र सोइललाई प्रोटेक्ट गर्ने हैन कि, but the smaller smaller green vegetation that are planted in steep hills or that are planted sloping hills can also protect the soil from getting eroded from those particular smaller the green coverage that lies below the soil, or that lies at the level of the land, that is the grasses, and all planted in different places, so that in those particular places. Besides this, soil erosion also takes factors. Whenever these green grasses are planted, we plant the green grasses, we plant the trees in different areas, but due to different reason, we are clearing all of these. We are deforesting, we are cutting the trees. That provides that helps in living, or that helps in exposing the soil. Similarly, overgrazing of the animals in one particular place also reduces the green vegetation in those particular places, that helps in exposing the soil. That particularly leads to soil erosion. Besides this, construction of the dams in different places, that also helps in soil erosion. Yes, that also, constructing roads in different places, that also induces the soil erosion in varieties of the places. So basically, to conserve the soil erosion, the trees in different places, rate of deforestation that we are heading towards, that should be controlled to a greater extent. Not only the trees, but it can be the fruit trees, or it can be the herbs, or the smaller grasses can also be planted in. Besides, we also construct the dams. Larger number of the dams as well as the retaining walls can be constructed in different, especially riverbanks area, or those slopy areas, those steep area where plantation of the vegetation are not possible. So in those areas, any structures, stone walls, gabion walls can be constructed in particular places. Similarly, the dam should also be constructed near the river bank, so that erosion can be reduced to a greater extent. Beside this, as I have already told you, overgrazing also should be stopped. Overgraze basically reduces the green vegetation or the green canopy cover to the soil itself. Because of this, the soil becomes loose and prone to the erosion. Similarly, we can also reduce the explosion that we generally tend to do time in different places for the construction of roads, construction of buildings, construction of industries and factories. For all of these, we basically explode particular places, and due to the explosion, huge amount of soil will be eroded from the higher hills or from one particular surfaces. So especially blasting in the mountains or blasting in the hills, which is very prone to landslide or which is very prone to soil erosion. For construction of the roads, industries, and that for factories, it should be reduced or it should be controlled. Similarly, we can also do terrace farming, as we all are very familiar. Terrace farming is a very good way
Useful.
to that can be adopted in the hilly areas for reducing the soil erosion. Terrace farming basically constructing a ladder-like structure, a terrace-like structure, ladder-like structure in the steep hilly slope, so that if the soil gets eroded from higher topmost layer level, it will be deposited in the if use second terrace, then it will be deposited in the third terrace without any difficulty. So if we practice terrace slope or if we practice terrace farming steep hills of the hilly areas, we can reduce the soil erosion. There will be very minimal amount of soil that will erode from the it. Basically, beside this, we can also do crop rotation. There are several other factors by which we can conduct to prevent the erosion, but it also helps in increasing the fertility of the soil. So basically, for increment of the soil fertility, crop rotation is one of the important factor by which we can conserve the soil for longer period of time. If we do planting by rotate the crops, it can maintain the fertility of the soil for longer period of time, so that soil can be conserved and we can grow larger varieties of the crops for longer period of time. Similarly, plowing in the right direction. This is also one of the very important factor that helps in conservation of the soil. Basically, not only plantation and many more factors helps in reducing of the soil erosion, the but the factors as crop rotation, plowing in right direction, these two factors basically help in increasing the fertility of the soil. The plowing in the right direction reduces the wind velocity, so it also helps in reducing the soil erosion from different places and making the fertility maintain for a longer period of time. So for the soil to conserve properly, for us to conserve the soil properly, these all factors should be taken into consideration so that we can conserve the soil for a longer period of time and plant the crops without any difficulty in the fertile soil. Clear up to you?
Yes.
Do you have any problem up to here? Yes?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Very, it is very late, sir.